In this video, I will show you how I erected a 15-degree apex roof using only recycled, reclaimed or reused materials. This is chapter 7 of my Making a Shed for Free series. As spring finally arrived in Britain, the weather became slightly less offensive and Bailey and I changed our walking route and spent more time down by the River Avon, or in Bailey's case, in it. Along the river was a lovely bloke building his dream house with beautiful treated larch cladding. Very fancy, very expensive, but more importantly though, he let me have access to the offcuts pile. Most people dream of tropical islands. I dream of free timber. The second miracle arrived via my mum. She'd asked my son and I to replace the flooring in a conservatory. It was a lovely full circle moment really, because my dad had fitted the original floor 29 years ago. 3 generations involved, very wholesome. 2 sheets of plywood were left over. I covered them in Ronseal Yacht varnish on both sides, usually very expensive stuff when bought new, but this is left over from painting some cable reels to make barbecue tables, which naturally meant they were immediately press-ganged into my entirely sensible shed ambitions. And finally, the Evolution R255 Plus arrived, a Christmas present to myself, bought in the hope that it would improve my woodworking standards, or at least allow me to make mistakes with greater precision. And to be fair, it's an absolute cracking bit of kit. This is me cutting the gable ends with a 15-degree mitre. It also makes a huge difference when making the larch shingles in the next chapter. The old 90-degree setup was what had turned the whole thing into a suburban cathedral, and 15 degrees felt like a respectable number for an apex roof. Not because I'd done pages of calculation, obviously, but because it sounded right, looked right, and by this stage was more than enough. The 90-degree gables had long since been put into storage, because I never throw anything away. Not because I might need it, but because I suffer from optimism. The frame is now up on the roof, with the black EDPM sticking out and looking as tidy as a festival campsite on a Monday morning. We'll trim that in due course. You'll also note that I've added hosepipe hooks, solar lights, sunflowers for lozza, and a trim on the front door for a padlock, mainly to keep the bugs out. I read that spiders can't operate padlocks, and I think David Attenborough should really cover that. The male house spider approaches the lock mechanism, but sadly lacks opposable thumbs. Also, the eagle-eyed amongst you will notice I've added 1 autumn, 1 winter, and roughly half a British spring of weather seasoning. The shed's basically been left out to mature like a cheese. Not 1 drop of water inside though, so the EDPM worked perfectly. No spiders either, proving my theory on the padlock as well. So up go the new 15-degree gables, still sporting the old bird's mouths as they're waiting new ones. Just a handy bit of larch holding things in place because, once again, I'm working on my own. I launched 1 gable up onto the roof, clamped another roughly in place, and briefly convinced myself I could do parkour using painter's steps and my son's outdoor gym covered in this tarpaulin. Turns out there is an age where your body quietly files a complaint with management. So, ladders. Wonderful invention. These are rear mounted to the shed to keep them out of the way, but they are a beast to get back out again though. So, up we go to the roof. Now, the roof is structurally sound, which is a tick in the box for this free-to-build pallet-supported shed, and so far, everything looks simple. I bring the 15-degree gables up to the central pencil mark, and I clamp into place. I bring the other one up and just drop it into place, and at this point, it's perfection, and it's all going so well. And then we're on to the bird's mouths again, and I thought this was going to be simple and straightforward. I want the bird's mouth to grip each side of the frame, which is simple enough, or so I thought. A couple of pencil marks, a little cutout, job done. Except you can see I've run that last line level with the gable, not level against the support. Of course, I only realise this once I'm on the ground level and I've chiselled everything out. And then I return with the reserve team. Black speed square, red pen, flat line with the frame. Lovely. That'll do. Engineering has officially taken over. And normally I declare I'm not making a Swiss watch and the client isn't royal family and no one's paying a commission, but I still put that little X in there to remind me which bit I'm butchering when I get on the ground floor. I had a proper brain fog day here. Genuinely could not get my head around what equipment would be best. Handsaw, circular saw, chisel, file, back to the chisel, back to the handsaw. The chisel itself had all the sharpness of a warm teaspoon. How do actual skilled people do this? Then I remembered 2 important things. No one will ever see these birds' mouths. And 2, sometimes chasing perfection is just a wasted journey, particularly on a reclaimed shed built mostly from free stuff and blind optimism. Talking of free, Those two Stanley sawhorses. Got those, found them at the side of the road. Actually, at the side of the road. Genuinely. Not stolen, let's clear that up immediately. Quick and easy to set up and put away, but not as solid as the Axminster one. So now I have a choice based on how much strength I want. And I use that experience to use the first one as a template, so they will be as good or as bad as each other. And then I remember why Old Faithful is Old Faithful. It has a depth adjuster, and that allows me to hog out the part I need to remove. Anyway, a couple of them do look like they've been attacked by a beaver on a bad day having a breakdown, but they worked, and honestly, working counts. And up they all went. Blue skies appeared as if the project had just achieved a bonus level, and I start with the end gables and screw them firmly into place. They're not coming down anymore. I move inwards and I complete the central gables. Safety glasses are still on my face, and I've no idea why. These are little Parkside safety glasses, and they are unbelievably comfortable. Or at least that's my excuse, and I'm going to stick with it. And I have some new little Parkside Bluetooth ear defenders. They are just as comfortable as the safety glasses. I show off how ambidextrous I am by using my right hand for the right hand side and my left hand for the left hand side as I remove the end part of the frame and lower it flush with the wall. I plan to build a door to provide access to what I'm going to call the attic. That's going to be in chapter 9 territory, but at this point I've got an idea and absolutely no certainty. Some people start with plans. I tend to start with enthusiasm and see where the events take me. It's far more entertainment, potentially time consuming, but entertaining. I use the frame edge to cut and remove the EDPM rubber shirt tail, and it reveals how the UK weather can age an outdoor wood project over such a short period of time. That will become important when I add the shingles. I do exactly the same on the other side, including the ambidextrous stuff. I haven't really noticed just how much I use both hands until I've done this edit. I place down a larch offcut to kneel upon, because the Bailey dog kennel has what must be 40 grit roof felt that exfoliates your knees with industrial enthusiasm. That dog kennel was my first ever project 5 years ago, to the month. Not bad for pallet wood, is it? Strong enough to hold a fat man screwing up a shed. Literally screwing up a shed. Thought I would say that before anyone else gets in there. And that's the apex roof gables eventually done. They look alright. Old Faithful comes out again. I try to look professional by cutting without a speed square, a poor man's track saw, or any other jig. I am following a pencil line though. And then it looks like I offer one of the offcuts up to the gods. The reality is this is how master plans get worked out. This is me having a great idea. Ah yes, a great idea to make the gable supports look like the wingtips of a Ryanair plane doing a fly past of my house. Actually, this is quite a good idea. I've added these tips so the plywood will stay on the roof as I'm working on my own. Here we are then, Bailey Dog and the Axminster Sawhorses. Great name for a band. Great music, fantastic world tour coming up next year. Reality is though, it's the plywood sheets being cut down to size. Borrow my son's 6-foot spirit level, draw a straight pencil line to cut upon, use my highly advanced spacer system, which is really just a special shim, clamp and cut. Simple. I've moved my son's gymnasium, but the painter step are back in place. Lift her up, up she goes, and those wingtips keep the plywood in the right place. That's lovely, isn't it? From this angle. Check that it's all good from above and finish the job. Lovely. Meanwhile, down at the other end, we have no big sheets of plywood left, only the offcuts, and even one of those had a bit missing. I trimmed the first two pieces to perfect size, and while I'm cutting them, I even managed to get the offcut to sit perfectly on the sawhorses. Watch this. That's my best bit of work, that is, right there. But anyway, no time for that. We have got some serious bodge jobs to do here. The first two pieces, as you see here, go in perfectly. But this last one, we have a tiny issue here. There's no gable support. Bodge mode activated, bit of batten, offcuts, hope, possible prayer. We'll hide it under the shingles and never discuss it again. All the traditional woodworking techniques employed in one go. And the drone footage finally shows where this is heading. Yacht varnish plywood, top and bottom, attic above, waterproof-ish below, somewhere for the paddle boards and surfboards, and honestly, pretty pleased with it, even the bodge job in the corner. Next up, treated larch shingles and building attic doors. And then finally, we'll cover everything I learned, everything I'd do differently, all the mistakes beginners can avoid by watching me make them first. See you in the next one. Lovely. Hope you've enjoyed. See you again.